Good evening, my virtual friends. How are you all doing this evening? Thank you for coming out and joining us. I'm John Malashock. I'm the artistic director of Malashock Dance. And I want to welcome you to the fourth in our series of live streamed events, our Streamline series. And tonight we have a special treat for you. This is the night where we do an open rehearsal for you to watch. I first want to give a little thank you. Keep the mask on. I first want to give a thanks to Arts District Liberty Station and the NTC Foundation for supporting this series of streamed events. Couldn't do this without them. As I said, tonight it's going to be an open rehearsal. I've started a brand new piece. This piece is called On Shaky Ground. It's for three of our amazing dancers, Marty Dorado, Nico DeJesus, and Gary Champy. And we just started creating this work yesterday. And tonight we will be showing you some of the kind of work that we do to refine the work, to clean it, to make it more expressive. Let you take a look at how we take movement apart and put it back together. So come join us in rehearsal. We were working outdoors on this today because with the new regulations, we can't actually work together in our studio. But we had a very satisfying rehearsal and hope you enjoy this. All right, let's go ahead and just do a mark through. So you're coming in and starting. Yeah, I think don't advance too far forward because we want to keep you downstage of me. Just having them remember the movement that we made yesterday, and we're going to try and clean up today. Fall back into sync. Okay, good. So spatially, everything okay? Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and jump in and do a little run through so we get it back. All right, good, you guys, good.
back in high school. I think I was around 14 or 15. I had seen the show choir at my school perform, and I was in the audience. I was like, oh, I kind of want to dance like that, and kind of just like stuck with it ever since. I found Malashock through taking modern class at the studio in Liberty Station, but now because of COVID and I returned back home, I decided to reach out to John, and he accepted my email and got to work right away. It was really great. I've done one project with John thus far, and it was the solo a couple of weeks back. That was great. It was nice to be back in the studio and dancing with Foley again. I'm always used to having some eyes in the studio space that aren't necessarily dancers or part of the company, so it doesn't really rack my nerves or anything anymore. I don't know, it's kind of become like normal now. I guess I've just been doing it for the past 8 years in New York, so having people come to rehearsals is part of the deal. It's like what you signed up for. I hope that they get a little bit more knowledge about the dance field and how much work is required to get the dancers to a point where the ease and the grace that they witness in a final product comes across, so that, you know, it looks like anybody can do it, but we put a lot of work into it. I feel like the arts are always the first to go in terms of funding, and whenever there's a crisis situation. I think within even the art form, when they're considering which arts to cut, it's always kind of just dance. It's good to have outlets to express yourself, because otherwise you stay cooped up inside. I think it's important that we still push this art form and, you know, fight for our spot and as a valuable contribution to society.
We make up movement trying not to think about it too much. And then when we come back and want to shape it and turn it into something, that's where we really need to get really specific. Kind of like the way conductor asks for a little more volume from the trumpet, a little faster on that cello coming in. So these are my musical instruments. Keep watching each other. Nice, you guys, really nice. What's happening in that one moment just before the jumps? There was a little...
No, I went too early.
So it's kind of from where that turn is coming back?
Either suspended this too long or not long enough. Yeah, a little different timing this time, but I'm gonna watch you too. I went and I was like... No, I have to watch that.
Yeah, and really, don't be afraid to look at each other.
Yeah.
I know how it is that sometimes the The taller guys need to work to speed up with the shorter guys, and the shorter guys need to allow for a touch more time for the others, and yeah. Good. So just quality wise, so the very first thing is going to be important because it's the first movement we see. I just want something a little more aggressive on this whole first part. It's sort of like, well, it's going this way first, isn't it? You know, so it's like, get out of my way. Boom. Yeah.
It.
Yeah.
I could do that for you.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Good. Good.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then show. Yeah, no, that's nice. It makes such a big difference just to have the specificity of it. Otherwise, it's just kind of like extending an arm out.
Thank you.
Show me that one spot though where just before the jumps through the middle are going to happen. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but what was nice is you just went. Yeah, I think don't.
I aim to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like pointing here and just shifting right here.
Yeah. No, that's good. So it should have a little sense of urgency to it there, and and then you guys find a way to fall back into sync.
I have to connect it. I always still get there.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did I have here? The floppy things, it looks much better that way. It wants that sort of down into the ground feel. All right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dancing on cement or bricks is fun.
How much of a twist do you want on those things?
Well, I want the twist. So in fact, this is one movement. It seems like you guys are kind of getting your arms are coming up sort of in a rainbow. and I want you to think of them more as horizontal, like almost at shoulder level.
Oh, they're never above.
That's right.
That's what we mean.
Yeah. And the twist is to give it a little tension and suspension. This was nice, the look of this thing. And again, just for a place where here, pointed.
As best you can in tennis shoes.
Yeah, right. This was nice, the look of this thing. And again, just for a place where it needs a support.
I started dancing in high school when dance class was offered as an alternative for PE class. I was able to take dance class all 4 years of high school. And so that really allowed me to delve more into the dance world. After taking a dance class as an elective at my college, the dance faculty convinced me to switch my major from criminal justice to dance. So I did just that. Seeing companies like Malashock really was just like, wow, that looks like where I want to be. I made that move to San Diego in 2012 from my hometown in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I can't believe it's already been 8 years. I feel like I've done so much, with the company, with the community here. During this pandemic, I really don't know where I would be if I didn't have dance. My personal world would feel a lot more desolate without it. The arts world found ways to evolve and adapt to this crisis. Thank goodness for technology and film, and here in San Diego, we have site-specific culture. These behind-the-scene things that we like to do as artists, we can really harness that synergy again that we had when we're in person. And I think that's really, really special and really something that we treasure as dancers. I think it's a little peek into our world of how we're really trying to make this work. I hope that people see that there is life in the arts still. It may not be much in parts of the world or even parts of the country, parts of the state, but it's there. It's like a little flame, like it's there. It's waiting and just needs a little extra breath. There is a demand for dance to carry on.
That's really nice. The letting yourselves focus on each other really helps with this. To be especially when you're wearing a mask, to have very direct focus, whether it's out here at the audience or at each other. I mean, this is not a casual, easy piece of music. It's got an intensity to it. What does this movement feel like that way, from dynamics or emotions or? Tribal.
Yeah.
Do you know what the name of the piece of music is? It's from a dance I did called Departure of the Youngsters, but the piece of music itself is called Primal Inheritance.
Oh, cool.
So it's got,
There
it's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. What else, quality-wise, do you get here? Uh-huh. Right. So suspend, which has kind of a held breath moment, and letting go of it. Yeah. So any of those suspensions should have a feeling of inhale and really kind of pushing out as you land from there. Anything else?
I think like progressive, now that kind of like clicked for me when you're telling me that.
Yeah.
That can just, yeah. I wasn't allowing myself to just really flow through it. I mean, not flow, I wasn't allowing myself to just move. Trying to keep more controlled.
Right.
Now that you gave me that note, so it's a little bit easier to do
Yeah.
now.
There's a couple of places within it where it feels like it sort of falls back to being movement. And we need to keep that sense of intensity all the way through from start to finish. I forget, it's once all the three of you are in there. Maybe you have the three movements, three steps coming around. Where does it go from there? Is that right to these twitches?
The 3 steps is into that one, right? No, 5 steps is into the 5 steps.
5 steps into there. Here, drop, D, 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 D.
And then this is the...
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the part I was thinking. These things have to have an aggressive quality to them. So it's not just here, fall. It's really going to be, kind of like that. Boom. So there's not an urgency necessarily, but a kind of getting pushed around feel. I didn't even tell you guys what I'm intending the name for this trio to be is On Shaky Ground. Interpret it how you will. Let's do this one more time.
dancing when I was 4 years old. I took a free hip-hop dance class at a recreation center, and that's where it started. I heard about it years ago, and then, yeah, I'm happy now, years later, to be working with you all now. During quarantine and the pandemic, you guys were like angels, and you reached out to me and asked me to work with you all. I always enjoy having an audience, no matter what the circumstances. I think it's also great for audience members to see what goes into creating a dance. I think dancers are just like athletes, and I think that a lot of people, whether it be whatever sport they're watching, they only see the final outcome. And same thing with dance, you only see the performance. I think it's important for people to see that we work just as hard as an athlete. We are one of the hardest working people in the world, dancers. To get into the mind of someone like John Malashock, I mean, who wouldn't want to get inside of that process? And yeah, I think it's a great experience for everyone. Just to keep the arts going, you know, I think it's difficult, especially right now. It's hard to get funding for the arts. Like, people don't realize how important the arts are in the world.
That's really nice. The letting yourselves focus on each other really helps with this. To be very, especially when you're wearing a mask, to have very direct focus, whether it's out here at the audience or at each other. I mean, this is not a casual, easy piece of music. It's got an intensity to it. What does this movement feel like that way, from dynamics or emotions or? Tribal.
Yeah.
Do you know what the name of the piece of music is? It's from a dance I did called Departure of the Youngsters, but the piece of music itself is called Primal Inheritance.
Oh, cool.
So it's got,
there
it's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. What else, quality-wise, do you get here?
A lot of push up.
Uh-huh. Right. So suspend, which has kind of a held breath moment, and letting go of it. Yeah. So any of those suspensions should have a feeling of inhale and really kind of pushing out as you land from there. Anything else?
I think like progressive, now that kind of like clicked for me when you're telling me that.
Yeah.
That can just, yeah. I wasn't allowing myself to just really flow through it. I mean, not flow, you know, I was allowing myself to just move. Trying to keep more controlled.
Right.
Now that you gave me that note, so it's a little bit easier to do it now.
There's a couple of places within it where it feels like it sort of falls back to being movement. And we need to keep that sense of intensity all the way through from start to finish. I forget, it's once all the three of you are in there. Maybe you have the three movements, three steps coming around. Where does it go from there? Is that right to these twitches?
The 3 steps is into that one, right? No, 5 steps is into the
5 steps into there. Here, drop, D, 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 D.
And then this is the.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the part I was thinking. These things have to have an aggressive quality to them. So it's not just here, fall. It's really going to be, kind of like that boom, so there's not an urgency necessarily, but a kind of getting pushed around feel. I didn't even tell you guys what I'm intending the name for this trio to be, On Shaky Ground. Interpret it how you will. Let's do this one more time. Hello again, I'm back, John Malashock here. I hope you found that interesting. I want to just say if you have comments, questions, we are watching to see if those come in on the chat features. So feel free to give us your thoughts, give us your questions. But meanwhile, I want to thank you again for watching this open rehearsal tonight. I want to give a little thanks quickly to a few people. Again, to the Arts District Liberty Station, to the NTC Foundation for supporting this Streamline event. I also want to thank Ross Goldman for his incredible technical skills in making this come together. I want to thank Mark Atterbury for use of his amazing music. And of course, Molly Puryear, our fearless executive director, who is also our editor-in-chief. And then I want to just mention a few more things coming up. We have one more in our Streamline event. It's on December 4th. And we'll actually be showing the finished product, the finished version of On Shaky Ground. And I'll also be showing a brand new duet that I'm choreographing. So we'll show those in their complete forms. I also want to make mention of one other thing. We've been keeping busy. Next week, we're going to be releasing another short dance film called Unbound. Keep an eye on our website, and you should see something on that soon. And with that,
we have a couple of questions. One person thanks Gilbert Dorado for saying hi to all of us and Marty, and he just asked what inspired the movement that you were creating.
Well, as I said, this piece I'm calling On Shaky Ground, and using this rather edgy piece of music, it's reflective of some of the underpinnings of what we're all dealing with right now. There's a sense of everything changing from day to day, from week to week, from month to month. And it's although we're falling into a routine with it, it's uncomfortable. So that's a little bit was my starting point.
To favor partnering in your choreography. Was it an additional challenge to be on concrete in masks and avoid partnering altogether?
The answer to that is yes, yes, and yes. I love partnering. I said this to Nico, Gary, and Marty yesterday when we were working. I said, it's so painful for me to not be able to create physical contact between the dancers. It's just, again, it's the pivot, it's the adapting.
And where did you find the music?
This music was written by Mark Atterbury. It's actually the very first piece of music that I commissioned from a composer. So this was a piece of music I used a lot of years ago, and it is so nice to come back to it, to revisit it. It has an entirely different meaning to it, but to me it feels kind of timeless. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for spending some time with us. Come back on December 4th for the last in our Streamline series.